Alright, everybody, welcome to Unforgiving Commentary. I am Ryan Gregory, writer, director of this film. Here with me, I have
Joe Hammerstone. I played Jacob Loomis.
I'm TJ Adams. I played Michael Myers, The Shape.
That's right, guys. So we're here with a little trio of people for commentary for you guys. So obviously here we got the disclaimer. Again, gotta hit that so nobody knows we were trying to steal anything. It's all for fun. We're fans here. It even says in there, made by a fan for the fans. And I think honestly, everybody who worked on this was a fan of Halloween. Like, everybody loves Halloween and Michael Myers.
Right.
Especially this guy Joe. He might even be a bigger fan than me, to be honest with you. This is a big guy.
It's possible. The original is my favorite picture of all
Same
time.
here.
I don't know if you saw in the comments about the whole, when they brought him in, the Michael Myers thing.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody decided to make a funny reference and basically make him Mike Myers.
Oh, really?
You know. So now we got Michael Myers, Austin Powers.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like,
So you were wanting to put scenes, I guess, from Resurrection to tie in.
Yeah, so where that came from in a sense too, because like it also tells you that it takes place after and part of the original universe. But I also wanted to pay tribute to what Halloween 2 and 5 has done. Because you know how at the beginning of 2 and 5 they took play, or it opened up where the ending of 1 and 4 was.
Right, yeah.
So I kind of wanted to pay tribute to that too. So it opens up where 8 left off, and we go into our own story here. So it's basically like just he woke up, and I mean, obviously, if we could have made this a feature film, maybe I would have done more with that and like actually shot that on my own or something, like actually reshot it. But I was originally like maybe gonna do something where like you see him get up, but because he was burnt and he's so weak that he was basically taken down and handcuffed and all that stuff very quickly right out the gate. Like he didn't make it out at the doors. So
and I think the whole just opening the eyes thing told what you were trying to tell.
Plus, the way it opens up and you find out that he's in that asylum still, and whenever you and John's character talking and say he's been in there the last 10 years and all that stuff, like it tells you, like, yeah, that moment he didn't make it far.
Yeah.
And as I said earlier, the original 1978 Halloween is my favorite movie of all time. And so I tell you what, when I first saw this, I can't tell you how giddy I was. Think about it. My name on a screen, and you have the theme in the background, and also the font and the coloring of a Halloween picture.
Oh, man.
I'm like, dude, this is a pinnacle for me.
Oh, that's awesome. I love to hear that.
Who could ever have their name while the Halloween theme is going on?
Right. Yeah,
it's so cool. So I totally Halloween nerded out.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love saying that, dude, because as a fan, that was my original thing. I wanted to go in and give it the original opening and feel of the first film, so I love that you geeked out over that. That's awesome.
This is why we can't tell him anything. Right. Because he turns everything in history into an excitable moment and fucking nerds out.
If anybody gets that reference, you know.
Otherwise, you may or may not hear it soon. Well, hopefully you saw the picture before you're listening to this.
That's right.
So that's a screenshot of Pleasance from Halloween 2 in the school.
That's right,
Yep, and then I also liked Danielle Harris.
You had H2O Michael drawing that was up on the wall there. But yeah, you got the reference to the hospital there and stuff. But yeah, Sarah actually put all that stuff together. De-aged you weathered it and all that stuff to make sure it felt
that's awesome.
old and stuff. But that was all her. And then here again, there's our Mr. Bill Conklin. He was awesome, and it was so cool. I felt bad. He's such a great actor and good talent. I feel bad not giving him bigger roles, but for him to have the passion and drive that he does and want to be involved in anything and everything, no matter how big or small, I really appreciated coming down for this one day to literally shoot the beginning and ending scenes. And he was probably on set with us like maybe 4 or 5, 6 hours, and like that was it. And that was a wrap on him. So, and same with you coming on out all 3 days to help out. Like just everybody part was amazing, and you guys' chemistry to be able to have this dramatic scene together, guys. It was really cool to have that.
Now, see, if only him and I could have had.
Maybe one day I'll get you guys.
Like, Bill and I have known each other about 25 years, and we've always said that it would be really interesting because I mean he's a very talented actor. He's very versatile.
Yeah, he ranges very far, and he's willing to do anything. Because when we were talking, he was asking how he should look and stuff, and I said, "Well, if you don't mind, would you shave for the film?" And he said, "Whatever you need, man." He's like, "I'll shave for it." And I said, "The only reason I asked is he had a goatee too, and because Loomis had one, if you're that against your father and what he used to do, you're not going to want to even look like him in a sense. So
That's true.
I thought maybe
Think
his
about
character
that.
would want to be clean shaven.
That's it.
And then Joe, he actually, I've never really seen you with facial
No,
hair. So
I
the
hate
fact,
facial hair.
So the fact that I asked you to do that and you came to set looking like that, dude, I was so happy.
I hate
I appreciate you rocking that for 2 days, man, because it looks good for your character. It really does. It looks good.
Now this scene right here, this is like one of the coolest shots I've seen. Because, I mean, you got that drone shot really good. Okay.
Well, I didn't do the draw. I don't have
Here's a fun fact for people right here, because people that are watching this don't know this. I'm in the house right now with Fred, actually, who plays Jonathan Tate. And we hear Joe here knocking, and he goes, "Who the hell's knocking on my door? We're supposed to be filming. Oh, crap!"
They got so deep in the conversation they forgot we were shooting a movie. So
they didn't hear action.
yeah. Well, because you guys were inside, I was calling it outside, but.
Oh, that's funny.
And then this is great here too, because Joe came out. He had a small role in my #FilmLife short, and again, I'm very grateful that he came out even just to play a small role. That's how passionate these guys are to do that. They don't really care; they just want to be a part of, that team and stuff like that. So I really appreciate these guys. But to have these two act too and have a dramatic scene together, it really pulled out, because Fred here, he's like a comedian. He's a funny guy. So for him to pull off these acting chops the way he did, man, both of these two played off each other again very well. It came off really, really good. And everybody's role, basically, when they came onto this project, I asked TJ. Joe, I didn't really have to ask much of, because he was already a Halloween fan, so I didn't really ask him to look and study anything. I'm just like, you know what you're doing. But like with Fred and TJ and a few of these other guys coming back in playing these characters that have been around for a while, I gave some of them, homework basically to study their characters. So Fred here studied John Tate from H2O, Josh Hartnett's performance. TJ, I gave him Halloween 1 and 2, 6, and 2018's Halloween, because those are some of my favorite Michael performances. So I had him study those movements and performances and stuff like that. So just examples, as I gave everybody homework except for this man, because I already knew he was a fan. So I mean, there was no reason to be like, hey, go back and watch some Donald Pleasance moments.
Because I would have anyway. I already did.
Probably already did before coming into film. He probably popping in.
Yeah. Well, because every day is Halloween at Joe's house. Because he's not evil. He's a boogeyman.
Okay, right here. Yes. Right here is one of the greatest screw-ups we had.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, this is the funniest outtake.
Whenever he gets up.
Where he's like, "That's it, time's out." But it was so funny too, because Fred caught it.
He did.
Oh, but that is a funny blooper. So thank you, Tish, for mentioning that, because I probably would have. Oh, that was hands down for me the funniest blooper.
It took us like 10 minutes to get back because we were too busy laughing for like 10 minutes straight.
And he lost it. Oh.
Yeah.
What's cool about this scene is this was the first time I ever faked a driving scene. Normally in movies, like I actually went around driving, and because it's night, you can't really see the sky, so it worked perfectly. But Madison, our DP, was like, "How about we just sit still and we can make it look like he's driving?" Which it came off that way, and even a car at one point drives past, so it looks like he's driving past cars and stuff. And it blew my mind how well it came off here. But
and that is my car.
Yeah, and this is Joe's car. And see that right there, the car, we're sitting still, but the car drives by, but it looks like we're moving.
Yeah, were we parked in front of Fred's house?
Yeah, the house that we just shot at. Yeah, we shot right in front of it. You're supposed to be leaving Jeff City. And then it's cut to Jeff. Yeah, you're supposed to be leaving Jeff City, and then you hear on the radio that Michael escapes, and then you turn around and you're going back to Haddonfield. Like, damn it.
Yeah. No, actually, in #FilmLife, I don't think Fred and I had any dialogue together.
No, you didn't.
I mean, we're in scenes together, but I love the work. He is. Oh my gosh, he's good people.
Oh yeah, you guys did so good.
Yeah.
And this here is Barry right there from #FilmLife.
Yeah.
And this here was cool too. We had I got permission from the chief of police and the mayor of this Jefferson City stuff to literally film and have this as legal as possible. So like this is the first movie I ever got like full on permission to shoot and not have to worry about getting cops called or getting in trouble.
On top of that, they even tried offering you more equipment.
They did. They were asking me if I needed how many cop cars I needed. I said 1. They said, "Are you sure?"
Yeah.
And I should have. There was a part of me that said I wish I should have showed off and got like 5 cop cars or something. But there's a part of me that's like, this works just fine. But I mean, it would have been cool to have maybe another one in the background there. But it's fine.
Or even coming down the street.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. I didn't think about it. I didn't want to overuse them. They were already nice enough to give me all the city to myself. So
correct. You didn't want to overdo the exact. Makes sense.
I didn't want to be like I was, like, oh hey, thanks for helping me out. Yeah,
I couldn't believe it. I remember that they were almost like giving us things. Here, do you want this? You want this? You want this?
What do you need?
In this scene, I remember. I don't know.
This was our very first shot popped off in the whole movie.
I don't know if you remember though. We had some guy walking down the street. It stopped us and asked, "Hey, what are you doing? This looks really cool."
Yeah, I was curious about it. We told him when it was coming online and all that stuff. But yeah, this was the first thing that we popped off. The shot beforehand, the B-roll of Haddonfield, the streets, and the school sign. I actually shot those 2 days before this film was supposed to go up on Halloween. I literally went out and shot that B-roll real quick, and then actually edited the Haddonfield High onto it and stuff. But
that's cool.
yeah, this was fun here. And so for this scene here, for anybody who'd never read the original script, we were supposed to have 4 characters here. Christian's character here is on screen talking now. He was supposed to have his character. Allison was supposed to be there. But unfortunately, we had his girlfriend. But we had some, incidents happen. Stuff happens in life.
Yeah.
We had an actress's car breakdown and stuff like that. So fortunately, she couldn't make it out.
A friend of mine was going to do it, but she was moving and couldn't make it.
Yeah, it was almost like the character Allison was like never supposed to exist. But I appreciate everybody. I had 2 or 3 different people lined up for who was gonna be a part of it, but like things happened so last minute. But it works perfectly. Even though, like I said, I would love to have had an extra character in the scene and stuff. But it works great because we actually ad-libbed on the day that Allison was in detention because she was caught smoking in the bathroom again.
To explain this.
And it just works perfectly.
And then later on, we ad-libbed her actually dying because we kind of threw that in at the last second.
But that's why it's always good to have understudies because you kind of.
Oh yeah. Well, on set, anything and everything could go wrong. So you got to think on the spot. Oh snap! And what's cool too is that those 3 they've never met before until that day. So they felt like high school best friends. They really did.
Yeah.
It came off really good.
I won't forget when I came to set, this guy, Tej, right here, was like, hey, we worked on the movie. I'm like, we did? I've never seen him. I'm like, what? Yeah, because we were in different scenes.
Yeah.
Different scenes, same movie.
I haven't seen the same movie. But that's okay. I found out that I had actually worked in another film with Fred, and I didn't even know it.
See?
And so that was pretty funny.
Oh, and then this is the house. Oh, go ahead.
I was getting ready to say, you say it. I was getting ready to say
this is the house that we shot, #FilmLife, and what is it? Oh my gosh, I forgot.
Donna and Stan.
Please go ahead.
Donna and Stan Johnson. Yes, this is the way we shot #FilmLife. The entire film took place in that location. When you film in one location, it's always so much easier because you literally can just leave your stuff overnight if it's in a secure location and stuff. And it's just easier instead of bouncing around. You can literally have your entire day planned around those scenes in that location. But yeah, when you're bouncing around like this, you literally shoot and then you get up and within all these days, it was probably maybe a couple hours just of our day of just driving to different locations added up together. You know what I mean? So, you probably spend an hour or 2 hours just driving through the day, just going to different locations. But this scene here, I think this again is another good example of you 2 just met too.
Yes. Yeah.
And you guys, you guys met the night before when.
Oh, in the street.
Yes.
Yeah.
On a side note,
but this scene comes first in the movie.
I remember everybody kept coming outside trying to figure out what we were doing. They thought we were breaking into their house or something.
Well, they did tell some of their close neighbors, but I think some of the other surrounding neighbors didn't know. But people were watching it.
Oh, they did. What was it?
Yeah, Don and Stan. Yeah. This here was actually, I was living in this apartment at the time we shot this. We don't live there no more, but we were actually staying there. So this was a fun night to wrap because literally when we wrap, we were back at my place just like that. So we literally all just chill, watch the dailies.
Who's coming? That's not the only thing getting hot.
Yeah. Dude, what's funny is that got added in towards the end before we started shooting because I went shopping and came across that bottle of High Life and I got it. And then when I went home one day and was spraying myself with it, I'm like, as soon as I casted Christian is when that clicked because I was like, Christian.
Now, this is the one scene where I had the most trouble for some reason. I had trouble getting that mask on. And I put it on and taken off about 10 dozen times, but we had to refilm it 4 or 5 times.
So we actually just started it where it was already down to his mouth, and as soon as we called action, the camera started moving. He just pulled that down there.
Okay,
so
so the cheat worked.
Yeah, so we were gonna show the whole thing going on, but it was just catching him.
And then this scene here,
this is fun.
You know, you had me and Christian ad-lib the whole thing
because you guys are wrestlers.
Yeah, and Sarah had never seen any of this, so like we're going through and we're doing the rough draft, and we get done, and Sarah goes, "Holy crap, guys!" She's like, "How much of that did you actually do?" I'm like, "I did." And yeah,
it's cool Christian actually hit TJ in that clip. I used the tape that he actually hit him in an accident. Yeah, it was an accident, but they wrestle all the time, so I wasn't even going to call cut to see if he was okay because I figured he was fine.
That part was great too, because like when we first went through, Robbie's house, and I'm like, I turned too fast, and he goes, "Slow it down." Robbie's house. Oh shit.
That's a good ad.
And in this classic, obviously, as a fan, I'm paying homage to the original '78 because that was honestly my favorite kill in the original film. So I wanted to pay homage. Yes.
We all cut there, and Christian goes, "Look, Ma, I got a knife in my chest."
Yeah. Which I wanted to ask: was there any kind of rationale, the thought process to like, okay, we want the 2018 mask, or want to go more original? What were you thinking?
Because I did love the 2018 mask, but it was also because like it did look so much like the original. But I did like that rugged look to it. So that was one of the reasons I went to it, just because it was newer and I like the look of it. But before 2018 came out, when this concept started coming in my head around 15, I was originally going to go with either the 78 or the curse mask because I love both of those masks a lot.
Okay.
So I was going to go with one of those, but then I just fell in love with the 18 mask, and it looks like the original, but it's got its own characteristic to it.
Yeah.
So, and I also wanted, I could have went full circle.
I don't know.
78 mask in this, so it was like first in the final movie. It looks the same. But
I don't know if you know, but in that scene right there, when Andrew stops, Josh forgot about that part.
Yeah, and he walked into him.
And he almost tripped. And
this scene here is fun. So like
this is probably my favorite one because it is the most common scene in the whole thing. All we hear is, "There's no safety on revolvers."
As long as I have safeties. Sorry, guys. It's for entertainment purposes.
Yeah.
I didn't do my gun research.
Sometimes you gotta check reality at the door.
I focused on the continuity of the film and what all the characters that were involved in it. I didn't even think about gun safety. My bad. But this scene when we shot, this was the end of day one right here. And it was actually so cold that night that they're shaking, but it plays off so good because like you've never fired a gun before. Your character's never gotten that close to Michael before.
So there's nervousness.
It looks like you're scared and you're nervous. Like you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Like,
but oh my gosh, the scene, I like the scene a lot. But it was so cool.
But if you watch, like at the beginning of the scene, you looked more scared. But as the scene goes on, you keep your eyes on him, but look at your face. You're so concentrated on him that you're starting to like come into your own there. Like, you know what I mean? Like you've never used to be this fight or flight type of guy, but like you're starting to be like, okay, this guy is real. Like you're starting to like, okay, my grandfather was right. Like this is real. Like this but you see your character, like you harden up real quick. Like you're like, oh shit, what just happened? Like your nerves are going, and you see in the scene, like you keep your eyes on, and you slowly see like even your eyebrows dropping. Like you're honed into him at that point, And then like you see it here at the end whenever like you fire those final shots at him, like you can see it. And then when we get to that scene, we'll talk about that line too, because obviously Donna Pleasance gave that line in 4.
You see, this is how you know Josh is also a method actor. He looks genuinely distraught.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say it again, this kid's got a bright future because he's very versatile.
Well, I've had so many people, when we shot that scene, we did do a couple different takes of him, like the way he threw his button and close up for emotions and stuff, but I always like the old school films when they stay on something too, so I wanted them to have that talk on like just one angle. And this was fun here. I love that we got a blooper in there where like TJ stands up behind him and he like doesn't push him. Fred turns around and he's like, "Are you gonna push me or what?"
No. That was later on.
No, it happened here too. The other one was when you were stabbing him. This one you stood up and he felt you behind him, but he was like,
"Yeah." I'm just like, here. I'm like, you know what? You did slashing the knife at him.
This location truly was so much fun.
Yeah. I was surprised that we didn't damage anything. I really was.
Well, we were obviously, I think we all like went in there very respectful and did our best, but it was fun. I love this shot here too. Like, I wanted to go for this angle. I wanted to look under because, you know, like different, the way the perspectives of camera stuff, it can tell stories like that. There, it's basically Michael is in this scene. Michael is above the rest. Like, he is towering right now.
He's like, screw this. I ain't gonna run after this guy. I'm gonna walk very casually.
Yeah. Well, you know, you like to play. Michael likes to play with his food sometimes before he eats it. So he knows that regardless of where he ends up, he's gonna get to. You know,
what people don't know about this is actually.
Got him injured, so.
But what people don't know is Fred actually had a torn ACL at the time.
And that's why I actually wrote him getting stabbed in it. He wasn't going to get killed or anything until the very end, like stabbed until this final part here. But because of that, I rewrote the script to where he gets stabbed in the leg, so that way this final part he can limp. Because the other scenes he was when you guys were sitting, this was his most active scene. So I was like,
the time he's standing was at the door.
Yeah. So I was like, you got a bad ACL, you get stabbed in your knee, you can limp the rest of the movie. He's like, all right. Dude, I had a comment recently that said even with being stabbed in the leg, they said he could hop that fence. What do you guys think? You got stabbed, if a knife went in that fence, hit a nerve. Think you can hop that?
No.
It's as tall as you and him. It's a tall ass fence.
Yeah.
He's hurt.
I mean,
again, it's one of those things you can't think about that stuff. You got to enjoy the movie for what it is. Yeah. And that was one of my favorite shots is whenever you see him coming from the shadows and you slowly ease up.
Now here's the scene where I screwed up and I'm stabbing at him and he looks back and goes, "Are you fucking stabbed me already?" I'm like, I am.
That's in the bloopers and the special features here on this DVD for those who have not seen it yet. The bloopers are here. Check them out. There's some great stuff in it.
Yeah.
my favorite blooper of all right here. When Nana goes, "I've conquered my demons. Can you say you have," or whatever it was? And she can't get the lock in. I said, "I guess not." I guess I didn't think anybody heard me. And we call cut, and she goes, "That's not very professional." I'm like, shit, my God.
And what's cool too here is that this here you can hear the gate open. You never see it open because it was actually welded shut, and I was kind of bummed out because I had to shoot the finale there. So I just came up with the idea on the spot, like I came up with it like 2 weeks before we shot when Sarah and I was scouting the location to see where we wanted to film. And I was like, you know what, we can cheat it. I was like, you see her go to open it, it cuts to Michael, you hear it open, close, and boom.
Michael!
And it's all said and done. Laura's the final person alive in the curse, and then Michael comes and gets shot, and like, who's going on? Because everybody else died, but then you're like, oh shit. And I love it here because Loomis has been after this, trying to put an end to this for so long, and this kind of at the same time, Loomis still puts an end to it, but it's just not, it's his bloodline, it's just not him, you know what I mean? Like, he still ended it and killed Michael, but you had to do it, you know?
And like, I remember you were like really excited about that because you got that in one whole take.
Yeah, him getting his headshot and everything was beautifully done by him and Mike Strain, our FX supervisor.
Don't forget about our excellent cameraman, Madison.
Of course, Madison, man, like all of them, like the timing was perfect on everyone's part. And, you know, I called said that we were going to do it on 3, did 1, 2, 3, did boom, and TJ's head reaction to the blood squirt from the head was just on time, like perfect.
Yeah, you were like, do we need it though? And Madison's like, no.
Right? Yeah, I was like, all right.
You're like, I don't think so either.
Because this was towards the end of the night anyway. We were like 14 hours into the day.
This was like 2:30 in the morning.
We were done, but we got it on 1. And what's cool here too, this was shot on day 3, the same time we shot the opening. But Joe's lines there, we actually got so involved with the movie that I forgot to get Joe's lines. So as I'm editing the movie, I think it was like a week before we uploaded it or something. Yeah. I reached out to Joe. I was like, Joe, I'm editing the final scene. I did not get your dialogue. Can you record it and send it to me? Yeah. And then Joe said, I think you did 2 takes or maybe 1. You might have just sent me 1. And I was like, you were like, let me know if you need anything else. And I was like, we're good.
I'm sure I did it 2 times.
You might have, but this is great. And I love how it all comes full circle. And, you know, Bill accepts you. Like, at first he was so against you and his father leaving, abandoning you guys to chase this story.
I think what did it was, at the very beginning, Joe's line of, did you ever stop and think that the reason he wasn't around wasn't because of work? He was trying to protect you? And that look in Bill's eye was like,
And you could see it. He didn't think about that. And so you drove that home.
Yeah.
You drove that home in him, and that is what pretty much did it. And then because you actually finished it, you're writing your story, you're getting it out there, you fulfilled what your grandfather was after and everything. It all comes full circle, and he finally accepts you. And it's just one of those, like, just happy endings, even though so much has happened, not only our movie, but the timeline of Halloween in general, everyone who's died along the way. And it all finally, comes down to this end, and you get this, it's satisfying and happy at the same time, but it's also tragic because of everything that's happened. And you almost humanize Michael there at the end, because the way that Laurie talks to Michael about the curse and how your soul's finally free. It's like once she's dead, it's almost like you're a human again. You're free. Like you don't have to worry about this curse holding on to you. You don't have to kill no more. Is basically what that's saying. And so it's like he was humanized, but because he was humanized, you can finally kill a human. You can finally take him out, and you can almost see it in your eyes there that, like, that, you're about to do what you have to do, and you know that you're about to kill this human being. But at the same time, this is what your grandfather's been trying to do, is put evil to rest. And so, like, just that line of, like, God damn you, my God, you could tell, like, there's, like, a little bit of hurt in there. You're about to kill a human being, but at the same time, it's like, he's also someone he's not innocent himself, but it's also because he was tied to that curse for so damn long. So
I tried my best to get the energy from Halloween 4 when he's in the cafe or the gas station, whatever you call it, the cafe.
That was like a nice little.
God damn you!
That was an homage that I wrote, and I wanted to do for it, and I even ran it by Joe before I wrote it. I'm like, dude, how about if you say, like, God damn, Michael, like Loomis even did right before you shoot him, and you loved it, I loved it, so I put it in the script, and that's what we
I know I can only be the 1% of Pleasance on his worst day, but I'm.
Hey, don't sell yourself short.
Pleasance is the man. Good, he might be my favorite actor.
He's very, very underrated and such a great actor, and not just in Halloween.
Thank you.
Donald Pleasance did bring Loomis to life. Like, nobody else could have done that, but not just his work in that, but everything else he's done outside of Halloween.
Oh yeah, because people know him as the first time we saw Blofeld, Loomis twice. People, Great Escape, pretty much everything. Yeah. Like it's like with Pleasant. Sometimes he's in bad pictures, but he's never bad.
Exactly. Yeah.
See, there's no such thing as bad actors. There's bad writing.
Right.
And in this case,
this guy don't know how to write bad stuff.
There was no bad writing. I mean, it was like, if you go back and you read the comments on YouTube, everybody, well, not everybody, like 99.9% of the people,
98.99, very positive.
Loved the ending, loved the way they wrapped up the continuity, the music choices, the acting choices. Like, we had a couple people that were kind of, disrespectful, like the one guy telling me I was too fat. That was funny.
You look back on Curse of Michael Myers, that guy had a big build to him, but he wasn't fat. I always thought that he had the George P. Wilbur kind of build.
And then we had
fat. Well, he was from '88 when he did Michael the first time in '88. There's definitely more of a much thinner than 95.
Well, sometimes people's build they get a little bigger, no matter what.
So we got to give a special shout out here to
build is fine.
To Mr. I don't know your name because I've never cared to learn it. You stole my script.
Oh yeah,
we literally challenged him to show proof and never did.
Yeah, never. Because I guarantee you, I'm not. I looked for years, like watched hundreds of fan films to make sure that my story was original and nobody's ever done anything like it before. And no one has. Some people may have touched upon that curse line, storyline, but nobody's ever tied it into the original series the way I did. And if they did, they only, did it the way 2018 did.
Let's say even if they did, you put your own spin on it.
They did,
right?
But look at this one.
No, I know. I can't prove it because it was literally just me in the studio writing it. But I remember the restless nights, the long night, all of that, sitting and typing, my fingers hurting, all that, just to tell my story. And I did.
But think about this. This movie was done so well that we had two separate people tried to upload it to YouTube, claiming it was either theirs or they were on the team that made it.
I'll never forget that. Yeah, we had a few people. You knew that, right?
I did see the
downloaded our movie and re-uploaded on their channel.
I did see you.
And said it was like either their studio or they said it was done by me and RBG Studios, and I'm like, I don't know you, dude.
And then we got to give credit to the one who basically ripped off our entire script.
Oh,
they tweaked it a little.
Actually, I think it's this one here, Halloween Night.
It might be.
Movie there.
But if you haven't seen it, me, him, and Christian went back and watched it.
There's a couple scenes that are very identical.
Yeah.
Was it uploaded after?
Yeah, it was uploaded.
It was like 2 or 3 months after.
It was uploaded April after we uploaded ours in October. Mm-hmm. So it was uploaded this April, March or April this year.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Well,
that's what happens when you make a good movie. People want to try to copy you, and that's what Hollywood does too. They copy because they
just like us. They can't make any money off anything, so have fun.
Yeah, have fun. We did this all out of love and passion and respect for the man himself, Michael Myers, the one and only boogeyman, and for our love for Halloween as fans, obviously. And then in the movie, tighten everything to tell this one story the best you can, as quickly as you can. So it came out. And what's perfect is that was about, I met basically in the middle. I told myself I wanted to make it about 25, 30-minute short film, and it ended up being 27-minute short film. So I met like right in the middle. It was about my goal, about what I wanted. I mean, obviously, everybody has come to me and has always asked me if I was going to do another one, or if I would have done this feature film. Yes, one of the first ideas that come to me was turning this to a feature film, but obviously, with it being copyrighted, not owning the characters, all that stuff, there's a lot of time that goes into a feature over a short. So there would be a lot more sacrifices you have to make this a feature film. And honestly, like, I wouldn't want to work for Hollywood, but if I could legally make a Halloween film and make money off of it and could like tell this story one day and bring everybody back, I would, hell yes, I would say let's make this a feature, guys, because there's obviously a lot more story I could have told and wanted to tell, but for the short purposes and stuff, I had to cut some things out and tighten it the best I can to still make sense, but tell the least amount of story, but most amount of story in the shortest amount of time possible, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. But even though I tried to argue with you and tell you to do it for an hour and a half.
I would love to have made this a feature film, but basically it all came down to budget and time is what made this a short. But honestly, what we did in 3 days, very, very, like, honestly, guys, this is for my cat. You guys here and those who aren't here, this is for you guys, because truly appreciate you guys so much, everyone.
My hope out of this is that, some young up-and-coming director, writer, actor, whatever, will see this and not, maybe they've been thinking about giving up. Will see this, and that'll push them.
Yeah, that too, yeah. Anybody watching this who's an aspiring filmmaker, please do whatever you can to tell your story, get it out there. We all have cell phones now that have cameras on them. We all have access to basically a vision and telling a story. So don't let anything stop you. Obviously, with COVID out there in the world now, hopefully by the time, I don't know if it'll ever go, but just be safe out there regardless. Just have fun with it and tell your story. Just make it the best you can. And if you got something that you want to get off your chest and something that comes from the heart, then do it. It doesn't matter what it is, just do it. That's what I did. I went and shot my first film over 12 years ago. And it led me to where I am today, and I've only gotten better since.
Oh, God, the first film you ever did, oh dear Lord.
I know. I watch it and I laugh at myself. But we all live and learn, we learn from it. I go back, if I could remake it, it'd be so much better, obviously, today. But yeah, we all learn stuff. Everybody's first project isn't going to be, nothing Spielberg Academy Award-winning Jaws-like type stuff. It ain't going to be no huge Stanley Kubrick picture. Nobody just starts off like that. Everybody, even Spielberg and Kubrick and all them themselves, we all start somewhere. We all made probably some silly little film in our mom's basement and stuff. It happens, you know what I mean? But we progress from there. And I'm pretty excited to see where it goes from here. And I really appreciate everybody's time who's a part of this film, no matter how big or small the role is. And I appreciate everybody who's just been supporting since day one and wanting to see this story told. And obviously Mr. Joe and Mr. TJ here, who played my damn it, I'm already starting to you played my Loomis. Malcolm was the father. You played Jacob Loomis. Jacob Loomis, and then obviously Michael Myers. These two being here commentating with me, I really appreciate it. These two, actually, a quick little fun trivia fact for you guys. These two were the very first two people I ever casted for this film. I mean, I casted them way back in 2014-15 when this idea came, and I went to them and I was like, hey, I got an idea for a Halloween fan film. Would you like to be a part of it?
Oh, that's right.
They said, yeah. And every Halloween since 15, like for 4 or 5 years, I've been saying we're going to do it this year, and it never happened. We're going to do it this year, and it never happened. But I'm very thankful it happened when it did, because it allowed me more time. I didn't want to rush it. This was a story I was so passionate about. I didn't want to rush it. So I'm glad it happened when it did, but I'm glad you guys stuck around with me, because I told you both back whenever I was like, you would be a great Michael, and I told you because you're a Halloween fan yourself. I was like, dude, you gotta be a part of this. So, and I think it was after working with you on Spirit Trees when I was like, I had so much fun working with you. I was like, would you want to be in my Halloween fan film? And I know it took a while to make it happen, but I'm very thankful. Like, you two were the only first two people I went to and actually casted, and and you guys stuck with me this whole time. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Everybody else just kind of fell into the cast and crew along the way. People I just met that year or even beforehand or whatever, but yeah, it was really awesome to literally the first two people I ever told about this and actually casted, in a sense, where you guys were here to see it through. And so that was awesome. It was really cool to tell you guys that. And then here we are. Now it's over and we're doing commentary on it.
And the commentary is longer than the movie.
That's right. But we appreciate everybody listening. I'll leave it open here just real quick. These two, TJ or Joe, have any last minute things to add? Otherwise, we'll close out commentary and all that stuff. You guys have anything you want to add about what we haven't said already, or just something you want to re-add again?
This wasn't part of the movie, but in the end, Michael Myers died remembering one big key piece of knowledge here. Stay happy, stay positive, and stay in that mindset.
Nice. What about you, man? This guy, since he's obviously a Halloween fan and a Pleasance fan too, and embodying, how did that feel to embody? Even though you weren't embodying or portraying the one and only Dr. Donald, or not Donald, but Sam Loomis, but you're portraying an offspring of his. How was that for you to be a fan and portray a Loomis?
Well, I didn't feel as nervous, because if I was going to be Sam Loomis, I'm like, are you sure? I mean, oh my gosh, we're talking about Donald Pleasance.
I know, right?
Oh, I can't. But no, I like the idea of doing like a grandson and just for sure. Again, and got to be involved in a Halloween picture. It's it's one of my. It's for me. It's one of my tops in my resume, because.
Heck yeah, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
So it was great to work with you.
Yeah, like I've said multiple times, 1970 Halloween is the best picture of all time. So there's no question about it. Obviously performances, but Dean Cundy camera work. I mean, everything. Just the John Carpenter music.
Wasn't Halloween like one of the first movies to ever put ourselves in the killer's POV too at the opening? And I don't think any other film has done that before prior, right? Or I can't remember if that was the first time we ever saw POV, because Friday the 13th.
Well, no, because Black Christmas did some POV.
Oh, they did, didn't they? Yeah, and that came out.
But it's all slasher related. It's all,
And I mean, honestly, all slashers kind of pick and choose and take from other movies to kind of make it their own and add to their story in a sense, you know what I mean? Because sometimes, or just simply taking something from a movie and paying homage, you know what I mean?
Right, exactly. When you go Scream 1996, they actually have a moment where there is no the only score in the picture is from the Halloween, I guess, VHS or, well, not DVD, so VHS that they're watching.
Yeah.
Because that's when, David Arquette's looking around the house and you can hear the theme of whatever scene is being played.
Yeah.
So that tells you how they were totally chill with using John Carpenter music for their scene.
Speaking of Scream, we'll talk about Scream 5 when we end this commentary, because I'm a little curious about what you think about this. So if anybody else, anything else to say or add to the commentary?
No.
Everybody good? If anybody stuck around this long, thank you for listening to this ramble on just a little bit longer. Appreciate it.
I liked it. I had a quick question. Like, how were you with the openings? Like, My favorite Halloween opening is Halloween 4. And there's no...
It's got that fall vibe to it.
Right,
like
and
it.
the whole Midwestern,
Yes.
and you see how the a barn is decked out with decorations. Because the typical, you get the pumpkin, then you get the pumpkin expanding to a skull, then you got 4, then you got 5, you're carving out a pumpkin, and then I guess 6 goes, which relates to us here, because you have... It depends. Like, I think Halloween 6, Curse of Michael Myers, was the producer's cut, and Halloween, the Curse of Michael Myers, the director, the theatrical cut. I treat them as 2 different pictures.
Oh, you have to, man.
Yeah, and so, because
they're very different.
Right, in theatrical, you have Paul Rudd, Tommy, narrating over the unnamed...
That was an odd choice for me.
Was that one of his first feature roles?
Yeah, it says introducing Paul Rudd.
So
that's the same year he's in Clueless.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I thought that was a really odd choice because I'm like, really?
Because right there, Steven wasn't named.
Yeah.
Actually, he named him Steven.
Yeah, because he was Paul Stephen Rudd is how he was credited.
Well, he named the kid.
Oh,
He's like, I'll call you Steven or something like that.
Yes.
So, because Jamie didn't have enough time to name him.
Yeah.
And so,
dude, if we could have a big enough budget to actually hire, if I could somehow reach out to these managers and get a hold of these people. I mean, obviously, number one, would have loved to have had Jamie Lee Curtis. Been fun, but I wouldn't have wanted to kill Tommy off screen like that. When they mentioned how his father died last Halloween in a car accident and stuff, I wouldn't have done that. Like, if I could have brought freaking Paul Rudd back, man, you better believe he would have been at the door as Josh was entering the door or something. He could have been like, what do you want? You got a couple lines and shoot, get out of here. You know what I mean? He could know you're one of those reporters here to get a story and you know what I mean? It would have been fun. I don't know how big of a role he would have had because he's not technically bloodline. I mean, I know he was a part of the first movie, but it might have been just a small role. But it would have been cool to have him back as Steven. But
but I don't think
you got to work with what you got.
I don't think I could have lived up to killing Jamie Lee Curtis. I think I'd have screwed up a lot.
It would be really fucking cool to have her back. But I honestly was, when I first was looking at casting this movie, I actually was looking around for talent that do lookalikes, and go to parties as a lookalike celebrity. And I found this one girl who actually looks a lot like Jamie Lee Curtis, and I reached out to her and her manager and was talking to them and stuff. But they were wanting so much ridiculous things, man. They were almost treating her as if she was Jamie Lee Curtis, it was she had the full-blown A-list thing, and I'm like, this is kind of a small...
she SAG?
I don't know if she was SAG or not, but her manager was wanting a lot of, ridiculous stuff. I just got to the point where I'm like, look, this is a very small passion fan film. I'm like, I can't really afford that. This is the best I can do. And then I never heard back, so I'm like, okay.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
That's all right. I still looked around. I think Lena was a pretty good Laurie Strode, but there was a lookalike I would have loved to have had. But it's all right,
Yeah.
Things happen for a reason, and everybody that came part of this project came out honestly bigger and better than I could have imagined, honestly. And having Madison and them on board, the special effects were great, and this is probably one of the best looking movies I've done as far as cinematography and the way it was captured, because
he worked on Your Next, right?
They worked on Your Next.
Yeah.
Your Next VHS and Halloween. They did the Jefferson City movies I worked with them on.
Okay.
All that stuff. So that's how I met them, because I worked with them twice out in Jeff City because they live in Springfield. So they came out and we worked together, and they were more than happy to come out and to kill some people and throw some blood around. So I feel good. Is that it? When we hit the end button on this?
Yeah.
Is it? All right. This is it, guys. Thank you for tuning in to our extra special overlong commentary. But hopefully it was so much fun, and you guys just got a little bit extra out of it, and you got to hear from Loomis and Myers and the director himself. And stay tuned for more projects in the future from RBG Studios. And my biggest project is yet to come. So anybody watching this commentary, stay tuned for 2022. I have a really big feature film coming, and I'm very excited to tell this story. It's a very, very deep, impactful story, I believe. It's very heartfelt, but it's also it's very drama driven, but it's also very character driven too, story driven, character driven. So I'm very excited to tell the story and get it out there. Hopefully it can make an impact on the world, because it's it's pretty strong message. It's a very humane life message in it, and I really can't wait to share that with the world and get it out there, guys, because it's gonna be awesome. Stay tuned.
Now, thank you for coming to the 60-minute commentary session.
Yeah, thank you very much. If you would like us to bullcrap about more stuff, we'll do a part 2 commentary track and release it for the Halloween 2-year anniversary.
Or, we could just, or we could just be like a logical person and do a podcast.
Yeah, right, yeah. I always thought that'd be fun to do a podcast. So if anybody watching this really enjoys all the commentary tracks, let me know. Maybe down the road we'll just do some podcasts where we talk about our past work experiences together. So we can make literally full hour episodes about that, even longer.
Yeah,
just about our past. Because I mean, not only my projects we work together, but with Fear we got stories and everything.
Well, yeah.
Even stuff that we haven't worked on yet, your own stuff that I was never a part of, or you were never part of some of my stuff like that. Like, there's so much we can talk about.
Whatever, yeah.
There's so much we can talk about, guys. So you want to hear a podcast, you just let us know. You know how to find us on the socials. That's right.
Now make sure you go and like and hit that share button and hit that notification
This ain't YouTube. This is a DVD commentary track. But if you do want to go to YouTube, you can go over to YouTube, RBG Studios Vlogs, and hit the like, share, subscribe button. You know what I'm saying? Shameless plug.
Yeah. Shameless plug.
But seriously, TJ, this is a DVD commentary track. This is not YouTube. So thanks for listening, guys. Yeah, y'all have a good one.
Take care.